Addison, are you there?
I am. Do you see my picture or do you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, hang on. Oh, there's my camera. Hang on. Okay. Can you hear
Can
me?
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Addison, I think I hear you.
Okay. I can hear you.
You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Jennifer.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, I thought we'd get on here just a few minutes early before the official 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. start time. We've got about 2 minutes just to make sure we've got all our guests on and we can hear each other and see each other.
Okay.
Is there a glare on my screen? Can you guys see me okay? I can shut this curtain if not.
You're really small. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see you. Oh, one thing I want to ask, Holly, are you,
Yep.
do we refer to you as Holly or HK Christie? What do you prefer?
Holly is fine.
Okay.
It's not a secret. It's not a secret. You can call me
Okay.
Holly.
Yeah, you're big on my screen, but Addison, you're really tiny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see both of you are small, so I'm going to try to figure out.
I don't know how to.
So probably we should make Addison big if that's possible. And also, how do we like somebody needs to introduce you and have you tell a little bit about yourself. And then throughout the live, I was thinking I could just keep saying, for anyone joining us, we're here with Addison Michaels talking about her new book and ask people to follow and blah, blah, blah. But how do we split it up so we're not all talking at once?
Maybe.
Yeah, I can go ahead and I'll introduce both of you. And then we've got questions for Addison, right?
We've got
And
the
then,
ones Addison wrote, and then I've got a whole bunch of others too, because I thought those were going to go real fast.
yeah, I just texted Addison some as well that I found on the internet.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to figure out, before we officially start, I'm going to try to figure out how to get us all on the same screen. If anybody who's watching knows how to do that, I would be so grateful. Because it's not really about me today. I'm just the host. So I'm trying to there must be a way to do this.
I don't
Expand.
know.
Oh, look at that.
What did you do? What did you do to make that happen?
There's on the bottom screen, there's and I don't know, Jennifer, if I should switch you over to host as opposed to guest. That might be a good idea. I've never done this before, but there's 3 little dots on the bottom. Oh, no, maybe it was, what did I just do? I think I just clicked on it. Let me see if I can do it to you, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, if you click on the picture of the person, you put expand.
Okay.
So let me see what happens when I expand YouTube, Jennifer.
But we want to keep Addison big. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm big.
Yeah,
so only one person can be big, maybe. So
okay, how about that?
Okay.
Okay, should we get started? We're at 5:01. Looks like we've got some people joining us. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first official author interview at the Mystery Thriller Book Club. I am one of your hosts for today. I am HK Christie, or Holly. I'm a thriller author, and I'm also joined by another co-host, Jennifer Ruff, another amazing mystery thriller author. And we are interviewing one of our favorite authors, Addison Michael. As you can see her big on the screen, and she's going to be talking about her new book. So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Addison, and tell us a little bit about you, and then we can get started.
Okay. Just in general about me.
Well, you've written? How many books you've written? What type of books? Because this is not your first book.
No, it's not. I actually have a 5-book series, and it is also thriller, mystery thriller. And it skews a little bit ghostly. The main character sees ghosts, and so it might be psychological. And you're going to see my kitty cat who loves to be on camera, so I'm going to try to, he may bomb. But anyway, my main character, either she sees the ghost in that series, and so either the ghost is real or she is crazy. And so you get to decide as the reader which one it is. That's a 5-book series. I have a mystery thriller that also skews sci-fi. And this one is my first, this book that we're talking about today, When They Disappeared, is my first.
Which I loved. I thought it was so much fun.
Thank you.
I did too. I read it. I downloaded the day it came out on April 30th, and it was such a fun, like, page-turning book. I loved it. So,
Awesome.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us about it, Addison?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, again, When They Disappeared, it is book 1 in a new series. It is more, hi Alice, more crime and police procedural. It is a US Marshal series. So the main character is a spinoff character from the book 5 series, although you don't have to have read that in order to read this. I wanted to give him his own story because he didn't really have any kind of, in thriller you don't have happily ever after, but by the end of that series he was still doing his own thing. He didn't have any resolution, and he was a US Marshal by that point. So I really wanted to write crime and police procedural, and so he is a rookie, as he is a US Marshal rookie. He's only been on the force for 6 months, and he partners up with somebody who has been on the force for 8 months. And they are tasked with finding a celebrity couple who has been kidnapped. And so the two of them, they have actually never met. They're thrown into the middle of this case, and they have to figure out how to get along, how to trust each other, and solve this case before they become targets.
So I have a follow-up question. So you're talking about your first series, the Minor Mystery series, had a little bit of ghostly elements. Does this one have that in it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Again, that series, it is just one character who sees the ghosts. And so really, book 2 of that series is a little bit more crime and police procedural as well. And I loved writing that. So I couldn't wait until the series ended so that I could start, I knew that there would be a series that was, I didn't know it would be US Marshal. I think at the time, the character in this was a detective. And so I couldn't wait, though, to get to the end of that to write a crime and police procedural.
And how do you know, did you have to do a lot of research for this book? How do you know what US Marshals do, what their processes would be? Because it came across very authentic to me. There was nothing that I thought, it just seemed like you knew.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky. I met an author at one of our conferences, actually, who used to be a US Marshal, and he was a thriller writer. He's a best-selling novelist, and he's amazing, and he helped me. So he gave me a lot of, here's what we used to do, here's what, truly the main differentiation between US Marshal and FBI is that Marshals are really more of an enforcement agency. So if the federal judge gives an order, they go to enforce it. So they can help other agencies. They're kind of known for hunting down people and like known criminals that no one else can find. And pretty much if the attorney general says that, gives them a task, they go do it. So it gets a little bit broad, but they know where their lane is. And they're kind of a helper agency, I guess. But anyway, this author gave me a lot of inside information, and occasionally I'd go back to him and say, what about this? What about that? And he sent me some great websites to look at what they do, so that I wasn't just Googling everything. But it was a challenge to write in that lane and to really establish, okay, here's a rule and here's why they're going to help out. It was a little bit different.
Well, every thriller author needs a friend like that, to run everything by. You got lucky.
You don't have to tell us his name off camera.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yes.
So what inspired this particular story? Because you said that I've read it, so I know that it's about 2 celebrities that get kidnapped. What was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah.
The story.
Well, again, I really wanted to give this character who had been in 5 books already. I wanted to give him his own story and he had already been developed to some degree. I did find that when I gave him the floor and he became the main character, he wasn't as developed as I thought, and so I had to work on a little bit more with him with backstory. But I thought it would be intriguing to play around a little bit with. He just wants to find his true love, and so he's not really in an industry where he can do that. Like it's not easy to have a relationship, and so I thought it would be fun to play with that a little bit. Like he can get the girl, but he can't keep the girl, and so that was a fun element of it. But at the same time, I write very strong, dominant female characters, and so he had to have a partner that was a very strong, dominant female character. And in all of that, I wondered if he could become friends and be respectful, with be a respect, find respect with a female, working with a female, and not having any kind of romantic involvement whatsoever. And so that was kind of a part of the dynamic. But truly, I know we'll talk about this. I know we'll talk about this a little bit, but I was also writing this when football started this year, and I am a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. Now, that's not to say that my characters in my book are the characters that were having the romance during football season. But
I must just say,
anybody reading that book now, that's the first thing that comes to mind, and it made it so fun. That's kind of how I was picturing a little bit.
Yeah, because I can tell you, I'm a big Swiftie, and so I was thinking like, okay, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. But when I read the book, I was like, this isn't Taylor and Travis, because they're very different. Well, not that I know Taylor and Travis personally, not yet. If you're out there, hi. But I'll be friends with you. But they are their own unique characters, which I really appreciated, and I really loved their story arc. I got to admit, like, I don't want to give anything away, but I really love how you had Selah's point of view in the book, and it really got to sort of tell her story throughout the book. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, in thriller, we don't typically have a happily ever after. I mean, Jennifer, I've read one of yours, and yours kind of end on a nice, happy note, and so
only because my first 3 books did not.
Oh,
and that cost me in reviews. People do not like when the ending is, not what you expect. So yeah, I do now, absolutely.
And I read book 8, and your books are set up in such a way that I can jump in and read book 8 and not book 1, and I could totally follow along. So I really love that. But
I want to follow up on something you said. You said you were writing this book in football season this year. Mm-hmm. Football this season year. Just happened. So how long did it take you to write a book?
It takes me about, let's see, I would say 3 months to write it.
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. And it was so good and so clean. I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you. Well, it takes at least that long to edit it. So it's 3 to 4 months to edit it. So equal amounts of time. But yeah, I think that I had started the book, or I was at least plotting and planning the book when I was sitting. I remember sitting on my couch watching the first football game with my laptop on my legs, and just typing as I'm watching the football game, which doesn't happen very often. But with all of the excitement about the couple, I of course thought, man, everybody is so excited. What would happen if, go really dark, what would happen if a celebrity couple, not them, ended up getting taken, and what would America do? What would people think? And then flip that on its head, because in thriller, it's not about the romance. It's about blowing the relationship up, for me, a lot of times when I'm writing. And so, I mean, I don't want to give a lot away either, but, pretty much at the point that they are taken, they've already broken up and they don't like each other. And it adds a dynamic of, oh, this is awful. Last person you want to wake up taken with. So
it looks like we have a question from JC Fuller. Did you get inspiration from real life for your crime story, Dateline, the news? Or just the what if? Or was there any kind of a similar story that maybe inspired it? Or I don't know if you're a hardcore Dateline. I've listened to the podcast, but
yeah. Not this one. The next one, which is out for pre-order. The next one, yes, absolutely. If I can, I try to follow true crime situations that have happened here in the Midwest. My stories are all based in the Midwest because I feel like we don't get a lot of attention down here, and and so I really try to focus on things that I've heard in the news or crime stories that went unresolved. I like to try to resolve them in my books if I can. And so most definitely book 2 follows a crazy situation that happened, and it hit the news and they shut it down like the next day and you never heard another word. And so that was fun. But this one, no, I really just wanted to get the 2 characters together and kind of throw them in the middle of not really an investigation, but a situation where they have to go save someone. So it was just a whole lot of what if this, what if that, and letting the characters come alive in my head and putting them on the page to see how they interacted. So yeah.
What is your plan for this series? Like how many more will there be?
My plan is at least 6. And the series arc goes through 6, and so I will have to reevaluate if books want to go a little bit longer than if we want a bigger series than that. I say we as if I and my characters communicate, but it's this weird thing, where they kind of do talk to me sometimes. And the goal is 6, but I think it could go longer. I want to see what the reaction is and see if it's something that readers really want.
And do you already know what's going to happen? You talked about the character arc. Do you have an idea of the character arc and like each investigation already?
Not necessarily each investigation. I have I'm working on book 3. Book 2 is in edits right now. And I have an idea for book 4. I keep saying investigation, but that's fine. And I know what those are going to be for the books individually, but the story arc is more, the main character, Stephen Wilton, has a backstory that seemed to be pretty cinched up, but it turns out he had a brother who was unalived, and they thought they knew who did it, and the guy already served in juvie. It was a teenager and got let out for good behavior, and so he finds out that person is not who actually unalived him. And so there's kind of a that story running through where he has to investigate kind of on the side and figure out what's going on throughout the series. And it probably won't be solved until about book 6.
Sounds good.
So did you feel this is your 6th book that you've written and published? Did you find it 7? It's your 7th?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you have the minor series, which is 5, and then you have the
other Hartford.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. Sorry. End of day. Don't know how to count.
This one is 7.
5 plus 1 is 6. This is why I get up really early in the morning. This is late in my, it's only 5:16 where I am, but it's late for me. I'm usually pretty brain dead at this point. So for this one, it being your 7th book, now that we all know how to add really good, was it different for you, this particular experience, like writing this book? Like, did you find, I don't know, I know when I write books, sometimes like certain books or certain characters kind of, I get really, it's like a different experience every time. Did you find that this being the start of a new series, it's a character, an old character that you loved, and you have some new characters in there? What was your thoughts as you were writing it? Was it like, wow, I love these, I don't want to stop? Like what, or is it just like all the other ones?
No. Well, as you know, book 1 is always the hardest book, right? because you have to establish so much in this first book that will carry it through the series. And I think I think this one took a lot longer to write. And I was also editing sort of in the middle of writing it. And so I had some interruptions. And I mean, that happens. You just have to roll with that. But I did find that when I put the two characters on the page, when I really established, again, I thought I knew Stephen Wilton pretty well from the other series, but him as a standalone, I had to really think about who he was. Thank you, Kat. I had to think about who he was and motivations, and did I have enough to really make him a very real, authentic character? I had to work on him a little bit. But when Mak hit the scene, Mak and Stephen are kind of like splits of my personality. So I have a Mak side and I have a Stephen side, and so together they work really well if they can, if they can kind of get past the bickering, not able to agree on things. But when Mak hit the screen, I was like, wow, this works. I don't know why it works, but it works. It's like everything clicked into place. I don't think Stephen as a standalone character would ever work. I think he needs an accomplice, like he needs somebody to work with him. And so that was the point. I think Mak hit at about page 50. And that was the point everything started to really click and just work together. And I thought, wow, I think I've really got something here.
Yeah, I thought that I really liked those two characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize that Steve was from your other series.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that, because that could be read as a standalone completely. Like I didn't feel like I was missing anything.
Yeah, and that was my goal, because the first series really isn't the same genre. And so I don't want people to feel like they have to go back and read the other genre in order to read, because if you don't like ghostly suspense, why would you want to go read that? So I wanted to give enough. Again, I was developing some of that backstory as I went in this one, but some of that was clues into what's already happened in the Mine Art series. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to give enough, but not too much.
But do you have something in your book so that if people really love that character, that they know that there's a whole other series about him already? Do you have something in your book to let people know?
I put at the end of the books all of my books so they can go find the other ones. Some of my social media, I'll say, if you love Stephen Wilton from this series, he's in this series. I want to give just enough clues, and I do have some readers that they're so sweet. They were like, "Oh no, I'm done with the Mine Art series. Now what?" And I'm like, "Hang tight. We've got something else coming for you." And they've followed me over, and I worried about getting feedback that it was just so different that they wouldn't like it, but I haven't gotten that feedback yet. So I think if you follow the character and you really like the character, then you'll be fine. You'll like this book.
Are you a full-time author, or do you have another job as well?
Well, I'll say that I'm a full-time writer. In my day job, and I say that like that because I can pick and choose my hours. So I do work from home. I have my own writing consulting company, and it is in my daytime it's marketing writing. Oh. So, which is ironic because all this social media that we do, I would love to have someone do that for me. but I'll do yours all day long.
That's great. So you have a full-time job, and you're able to write a book in 3 months and edit another. That's impressive. Very impressive.
Well, I really protect my writing time, which is a couple hours at night every night. And so I try not to walk away, even on a Saturday or Sunday. For me, if I can just grab that, it's like from 9 or 10 to about midnight or whenever I stop writing, really. And as long as I can do that consistently, then it gets done pretty quick. Wow. So, not as quick as H.K. Christie. I'm pointing up because you're at the top of my screen.
That's where I am now too, I think.
Yeah.
but I don't have a full-time day. I don't have a day job. So I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. I'm not one of those people who can have a day job and write. When I had a day job, I would maybe get half a book done in 6 months, and then I couldn't do it. So I used to be a consultant, so I would just not work, and I would do my writing, and then I would take a job before I was full time. I'm not tough. I can't even add 5+1 at 5:30 at night. So I couldn't do the full. I had a very demanding full-time job before, and it just killed all my creativity. So
What kind of consultant were you?
I used to do program and portfolio management for like pharmaceutical companies. So it was managing very large teams and people, and yeah. So I have a very different job now.
Mhm. Well, we all know our optimal time to write. You know, some people like HK, you're a morning person, and so no. Oh, I thought
No,
you got up early.
I get up early. I don't write early. I'm the kind of person who I get up super early, and I get all this stuff, sort of the analytical stuff done. I do my social media, I do my ads, I do all my admin stuff, and then I do lunch. Oh, I work out. I kind of have like my life done, and then after lunch is when I write. I'm an afternoon writer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When do
It's
you
like I have
write?
to clear out my head or something before. Yeah.
I'm totally the same. I get up in the morning and I have so many things that I have to do. My workout, clean the house, all my admin stuff, all my ads. It's almost like procrastinating, but I want everything done before I write so that I can kind of write without worrying about, oh, I got to do this. And then I'll just write for a few hours. And a lot of times it's just editing. But I definitely, I mean, I'm a full-time writer, but I might only write a few hours a day. But if I don't do it every day, at least a little bit, it gets harder. Like the longer I spend on one book, the harder it gets to finish it for me. So I try and do a little bit 7 days a week, whether I want to or not. I'm so much slower than all the rest of you. I know that for sure. I mean, but
well, I try to. I actually, since I went full time, I think I've been full time for maybe 3 years now, and I try to take weekends off. I'm not right now taking weekends off, but I try to, even when I'm writing though. But I do only write like I found that after 3 hours, my brain is mush. Like I came from this after doing a writing session. That's why I'm like, I don't know what's happening anymore. Like it takes like, and that's probably maybe why I do it at the end of the day too. Is it's like I'm spent after that. 3 hours is like, if I do more than that, I can't exercise. Like it's taken everything out of me. So yeah, about 3 hours is my like cutoff for writing every day. Yeah. And how about you, Addison? What's your, like you said, you're doing it at, you carve out your time. Is it in the evening? Is that when you're saying you did it, or in the morning?
Yeah. Evening. Yeah.
Evening. Okay.
So I've always been a night person, and I forced myself. Obviously, I had to get up and do an 8 to 5 job for years and years and years, and I can function in the mornings. It's not like I can't, but my my best, most creative time is late at night, like around 10, and then into midnight. I don't know. All my ideas start flowing. It's like I wake up. If I was tired earlier, I'm just wide awake. I'll go until, like I said, about midnight, and it's the best time for me too because my husband's in bed, my kiddo's in bed, and so nobody is needs anything at that moment, and I just zone into it.
So when you're doing
you have like a special.
When you're doing your other marketing job, do you find yourself ever like you can't wait till it's over so you can get back to your book? Like you're excited and you're kind of thinking about ideas, or do you completely compartmentalize them?
No, during the first book, and it was actually the first time this happened. If I ran an errand or I found myself going to a meeting, usually for some reason driving. If I'm not focusing on writing, I get all these ideas and my characters start talking to me, and I think I'm going to have to, and I do, I'll pull over into a parking lot. Hopefully I have extra time before a meeting, but pull over and I just get my phone out and I start putting all these ideas in my phone. And that happened a lot with this one, with where I just couldn't quite get, I couldn't wait to get to where I was going so I could just unload the ideas. And then I would send that note to myself. I would email it to myself so that when I got to the computer that night, that's where I started. And that happened a lot where I felt compelled, like I have to get this in my phone right now or I'm going to lose it. And I would make the most of that opportunity. But luckily, again, because I do work for myself, I have the flexibility, but usually during the day, with the exception of driving around, I'm focusing on the other project and they don't typically cross over. But yeah, this book did.
Have
Do
you
you find
always?
you have a, oh, sorry.
No,
I
you
was
go.
gonna say,
Helen.
do you have like a special, because you have like your day job, you've got your marketing writing, and then you have your creative. Do you have like separate spaces for where you write your creative, like to kind of give you a different, I guess, mindset of like, I'm in this place, this is creative now versus this is marketing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a stand-up desk that my husband got me for Christmas. I love it. And I will, if I write blogs, websites, I'll do copy for websites, um, and newsletters. But if I'm working on that, it's really good for me to stand at my stand-up desk in my office. And for whatever reason, I write at my bar in the kitchen on big bar stools. I don't know where that happened. It's not the most comfortable, but it's just where I go to every night. And so that's yeah, definitely different physical spaces. Yeah.
Jennifer, do you have that too, where you have separate spaces for like where you kind of like if you got to do like admin work or some other thing for other parts of your life and your creative
I
work?
like. I never go out. Like my husband's always saying, go to Starbucks or go to the library. I'm like, no, I don't want to. But I work in every room of the house. I'll work in my office. I'll work in his office. I'll go in the basement. I'll go in my bedroom, and I'll work on all different. Like usually I'm on my laptop, but sometimes I'll send things to my iPad and read it on my iPad and take notes into my phone, just to kind of vary things up. I think in my first book I didn't. I just sat at a desk, my laptop. But now I try and make it as interesting as possible for me.
I'm like that with editing. I won't edit where I write. It's like a weird, because I love to write a first draft, but I hate editing. So it's like when I'm editing, because to like convince myself to do it, I usually will sit on the couch and watch TV and edit while I'm watching like a baking show, or right now I'm watching Reba. So just rewrite the stuff that I don't necessarily need to pay that close attention to.
Oh wow!
And then that's like my reward. Like I get a break and I get to watch a little bit. Or like if the baking championship ends, I get to see who the winner is or something after editing a chapter or something. So
Holy cow. Yeah, no, with editing, I have to like no music, no noise.
wow.
I'm like right here looking at every little thing. Like I have to get into the mode. If there was TV, I would probably go in the other room and shut the door. Yeah, I cannot.
Do you use any tools to help you, like a Pro Writer or Grammarly or anything like that to help
I
you?
don't. Yeah, I actually don't. I think they're great tools, and I think if you need them, use them. I just never have. And I have two editors who are really fantastic, and they go back and forth. They do a storyline, they do copy edit, and then they do a proof. And between those three, pretty much we catch it. And if we don't catch it, then when it goes to beta readers, I'm always surprised by after all of that, they still find things. Like, I don't know how you did that. And usually, I will say my second editor was one of my beta readers who caught stuff that I was floored by. And I said, I need you to come and work for me. And so she is now my second editor, and she's just killing it. She's phenomenal.
That's great. Yeah, the book was very clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
good.
think as authors, we hate typos so much. And I think, I'm like you where I have multiple rounds of editors that I pay for. Plus I have an ARC team that'll tell me after the proof is done. And I still will get readers every once in a while tell me they find a typo in my book. And I have to refrain from screaming a little bit.
Yeah. The worst is when they put it in the review. That's the worst. They find a mistake and they make sure to comment on it.
And the best is when, like, I've had readers contact me through my website and say something like, I had one book where I had, just by mistake, I had the donkeys neighing, and donkeys don't neigh. They don't do that. And somebody contacted me and they're like, you're wrong. And I was like, I'm so grateful, like, I was just so grateful that somebody takes the time to tell you so you can fix it. Because I don't read my reviews. So if it's in a review, then not only does everyone know I made a mistake, but I won't know. I love it when people contact you privately and are like, you spelled something wrong.
So we have a question from JC Fuller, and she says, do you have any advice on filler words for bad writing habits? I guess how to break bad writing habits.
And hi, JC, by the way. As I say, I actually went to Toastmasters for about 6 months and I still say, filler words, I think that my editors catch a lot of that. I will say that Jennifer read my book right before it came out, and she caught quite a few of like duplicate words.
Echoes. But that's just my thing. I don't know why. Somebody else might not notice those at all. I don't know why, but they stick out to me. So, other people might not even notice them or care.
I loved it because it was such a good challenge. I had to figure out, well, how's a way to say that again in the next sentence without using the exact same word? And it was actually kind of fun. But I'm a weird kind of person where if somebody catches something that I'm doing all the time, like in a manuscript, for instance, my editor just sent back, I just got my edits back for book 2, and her comment was, I want to challenge you on this. It was in book 1 and it was okay, but in book 2, it might not. And I love that. I absolutely love when somebody challenges me on something. But what that makes me do is remember, oh, I did this. I don't want to do it again. And so for me, I just take my writing so seriously that if somebody says, you're using this word all the time and it's taking me out of the moment, then I make a note of that and then I work to not do it again. Not saying that I don't for sure, but I think that I'm a lot of a people pleaser and I worry about what people will think, and True Life Confessions by Addison Michael. But if somebody thinks that, then oh my gosh, I'm really going to have to work on that because I don't want everyone to think that. So I don't really know that I have good advice. Do you guys have good advice for that?
I edit it out. Anything I've used per writing aid in the past where it will tell you how many times. I haven't used it in a while because I think it's to your point. Once you see it and you point out, like, I always make sure I edit out those words I've overused. Like, so, I overuse so in my like drafts. It's like everything is so blah, 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 or that overuse of the word that. And so sometimes I'll just go through and search that or so, and just, if it doesn't add anything, I just cut it. But per writing aid does have a feature where it will give you a list of common phrases and words and how many times it's used throughout the manuscript, which I've used in the past, which I thought was pretty useful. Yeah. What about you, Jennifer?
I always search for that because I think when you're writing in a flow, it just goes out there way more than you need it. So that's always what I search for. And then with every book, I'll have a word or phrase that's kind of like my thing that I don't realize I'm depending on a lot, and I'll find those. And I just finished book 9 of my Victoria series, and I had probably and maybe and perhaps I went from like 200 of each of those to like 20 when I did the cuts. And I think when you're doing a crime fiction or a mystery, you have a lot of might and perhaps because you're trying to figure out what happened. Your characters are speculating. So every book I have words that get horribly overused, and I have to go through and get rid of those.
Yeah, maybe is another one of mine. Maybe is I try to like either rephrase to what if, or if this, then this, or something kind of, oh yeah, well, that's a good one, JC. Absolutely. Well is another one that I usually I every time I see it in a draft, like if I'm editing a draft, cut, because there's usually not a reason for it, like ever. So just cut. Yeah, certain words I think after a while you kind of learn to just, as soon as you see it, you're like, cut. If it's extra, I try to, like, I was editing another manuscript today and I was like, cut, this isn't needed. Anything that's extra, I try to cut out.
I remember an editor telling me that I was starting a lot of my dialogue with well, like an because that was authentic to me. And she was like, just if you want to do that, then you let just one character do that. One character can do that every time if that's how you want that person to talk, but then nobody else do it. And so I kind of remembered that rule. So differentiate your characters a little bit so they're not all speaking the same way I speak.
Yeah, and it was interesting because that one of those the phrase that she was challenging, my editor was challenging me on was, this is a thing I do. And Mak says it in book 1, and then I had Stephen saying it in book 2, and she said, okay, Mak can say it all the time. That might be Mak's thing. She might say, this is a thing I do. But, make it be Mak's, not both of them. And I so appreciate having an editor that can read across both and go, that's not going to work here.
So I have a question about, we were talking about possibly doing a gift of a book. I don't know if the trigger words are.
Honoring a reader. Or
we should have said that right at the beginning. Yeah. We forgot.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to be honoring a reader with if you're in the US, signed copy of When They Disappeared by Addison Michael. What are the rules? How do people win?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I'd really like to pick someone. I really think it'd be great if we picked someone who is kind of part of the book talk community, who is excited about sharing the books they read when they like them, about talking about them. I know I've done, dozens and dozens of giveaways at, book like Facebook pages. And I always would be like, well, who hasn't gotten anything yet? Who hasn't gotten anything yet? And that's who I would pick. And meanwhile, my smarter friends were picking people who then were like, showing their book to like thousands of people. So it's up to you, Addison. But, I think it's always good to go with someone who's super excited about sharing what they read.
And I guess they make a comment about it. Is that it?
Well, we should have said, so since this is our first time doing this, next time we should say that right up front, that one lucky, person who joins the live and stays is going to get a signed copy of the book, and we should repeat it. Maybe there's even a way to put text up there, like, because people love that, and we forgot to mention it. And then I don't know how we could have said, like, if you post a question, like one reader who posts a question, that's something like that, so that we could have generated more engagement.
We have another guest joining us very shortly.
Yeah. And actually, I've done lives with Dan on them before. And Dan, I wish you'd been here, because he is so good at the whole time telling people to share the live, like the live, comment on the live. He will like politely interrupt and keep saying that, whereas I intended to do that, but I forgot. I forgot to do it. But
well, we have a few more minutes. Like we have 15 more minutes. So
we've got time
from here on out.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that JC was here. That was nice.
I thought it started at 9. You guys got to do everything in Eastern time, or I can't keep track.
I think I put all the time zones.
We forgot to mention the signed copy until now.
So we're talking about how to give away the signed copy, and she's talking about how good you are at that.
Simple solution. You tell everybody who's in the comments section, all right, get your keyboards ready, and then you ask a question that you talked about during the interview, and whoever answers first gets the book.
Oh, man.
Now, it can be as difficult as the proper spelling of your last name, the title of the book, who your host was, anything like that. Simple. But the key is Nobody comment. Okay, here we go. I'm going to ask you a question. Get ready. Boom.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dan,
Okay, let's do that.
I remember you telling me when we were live, like you kept telling people to share it, and when I tried to share this, it wouldn't work. Is that maybe because I'm a guest or a host, and only is that why I couldn't do it?
It should.
Remember you kept saying like the live, tap it, and I'm like tapping and nothing's happening. So it
Well,
seemed like
no, if
Holly and I.
If you're a host, yeah, I don't think you can tap and like your own
Ah,
thing.
Okay, and I
I'm
couldn't
not
share
a
it
host.
either.
I should be able to tap and like.
JC says she was able to share.
Okay, so I guess if you're a host, you can't. So that's a bummer because I
Once
was.
you're on screen, you can't, but everybody else is able to. I can share it. The little arrow button's right there.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, JC's been doing things to make flowers and telling her friends, so that was good.
I probably need to watch some sort of tutorial on how to do these because I feel like when I've watched live, I couldn't even figure out how to forward it or even like it. I was like, how are people liking this? How do I do this? So
Yeah,
I
so
probably need to.
everybody should be able to look on their bottom right of their screen. There's a little curved arrow. If you tap that, it'll bring up friends of yours. Just go through and tap the first 10 and then send it. If they do, we get a message that so-and-so shared the live. If you ask, hey, go over and tap the screen, a couple times, it gets the hearts going, little likes on it.
Oh.
When you have more than one guest, you usually can't see the little hearts floating, but the people watching can. And you'll see in the upper left, there's usually a count. Right now it says we got 3,000 likes on this.
Really?
Live. Yeah, look in your upper left. See it says Mystery Thrillers under that little heart with 3.0K.
But that's
Yeah.
impossible. Like we had JC was doing a lot of tapping and sharing, but I don't think anyone else knew to. How did we get 3,000 likes?
Jen, people know how to do some of this stuff without us telling them.
It's only us, I guess. who doesn't
Okay.
know.
And it's
Okay,
really easy.
so
There are certain
Oh.
people like me. If I was watching and I knew, oh, there's Jen, and there's my other friends, I just tap the screen for like 20 seconds. It's going to put 200 hearts up, and there's lots of people who do that. Now, the other thing, so first of all, my apologies. I thought it started at 9, but obviously it didn't. And I was like, oh, they started early. Good. I can tell them how to do a few things to make life easier. So my intentions were good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So is it coming up on an hour?
Yes.
We have about 15 minutes. Yeah.
15
Okay.
minutes.
So as
Yeah.
Jen knows, when you've been on for an hour, you usually get a puzzle piece that TikTok wants to make sure you're still paying attention. You're not just watching yourself sleep or whatever. And you have to put the puzzle piece in. But what else it'll do right around that same time is, hey, you've been on for an hour. If you go longer, we'll send it out to more people, blah, blah, blah. So you tend to get more views when you do that. Now,
What is
there's
it?
also,
In the
Go ahead.
corner of each screen, like we have a 22. What is that? 22 what?
yeah, that, so I have 0. I think it's maybe, I got to remember this. It's specific to each of us. So Addison's got 22, Jen's got 22. I don't
Holly
see
doesn't
it.
have any because she's a
I'm the
host.
host.
Yeah, and I
So
think
what
I
does
have
that
0.
mean?
And that might be, I don't want to guess wrong, but that might be the likes that your people on your screen. So like if anybody joins, they can I honestly, I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. There's something about liking. Well, I already got 10, so it must be hearts or something.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Somebody
Okay.
told me, I forgot.
So I'm going to hold this up for like a second, and then I'm not going to hold it up the rest of the 15 minutes, and then
Okay.
we'll ask a question at the very
Okay.
end.
So
And
here's
whoever-
what else you do. See this? You just put them on a shelf behind you, and then you don't have to hold anything. You just get advertising for the whole hour.
Yeah.
It's
So
the
we'll do
gifts.
that.
Oh, Amanda's book journey saying it's the gifts. The gifts.
Oh, you're getting gifts. Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
JC's
okay.
sending us gifts.
Thank
Amanda,
you.
we are new to this. Clearly, we are all thriller authors doing our first live interview and trying to figure
Not
it out.
all of us are doing our first live interview.
Some of us.
I'm doing my first
Excuse me, I
one.
interviewed you about a year ago. But okay, good. So when you get off, it'll tell you here's how many gifts you got during your live, and the host will get a tally number of here's how long the average person stayed, here's where they were from, male, female, United States, other countries, who the
Thank you,
top 10
Amanda's
that
book
watched the
journey.
longest.
Amanda
Amanda
says
says we're doing great.
Yay! But what are the gifts? How did JC send us gifts?
So down on the bottom right, there's a pink package with a white ribbon on it. On mine, next to that, there is a heart. I'm sorry, not a heart, a rose. So if I tap the rose button, it'll
Oh,
says I have to exchange some coins to be able to do it. But if you push the little pink box, it'll bring up, here's all the different gifts you can send, and I can click on.
I bought coins. It sends you money. So that's just to show appreciation for somebody's life. You send them
Yeah,
gifts.
so I just sent a rose. You see it?
Oh yeah, I see it.
So
you had to pay for that?
it's like 10 cents, I think, for a rose. It's not a lot of money. But you can also scroll back through these comments. So anytime somebody just sent a rose, see? So we got another rose. Now I think those roses are going to Addison. I think. But it says in the thing, I think, it says Dan Altori author sent Addison a rose ×1. So I could have sent her 10. See, there's JC doing the hand heart thing.
Oh, nice. I love it.
that's fun.
Yeah.
This is fun. We should do this every week.
Yeah, but with someone else in the hot seat.
Yeah.
When you're live, they're all hot seats.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So
All
going
right.
back to our contest. So what question do we want to ask? So I kind of have oh, did it make it go away? Oh yeah, I've started the comment with the question for people to win if that's what we want to do. So what question do we want to ask?
Are we asking him now?
Sure. Is this a good time or should we wait?
A question about her book? You mean?
Yeah, about something that she talked about earlier.
Oh, got it.
Well, you could do that. You could make it like if you hold up the book, you could ask what's on the cover, what's the middle word in the title, how do you spell the author's name, right? It can be simple. The idea is to get people to participate. But before we have them do that, everybody who's watching, go down to the bottom right corner, tap the curvy arrow, and it's going to pop up with a bunch of your friends. Just tag the first 10 friends, send it out, and share the live. That may or may not help you get a little more leniency towards being the recipient of this very valuable gift. And by the way, we'll see who does and who doesn't.
But is there a way for us to just send it so that it goes out like to all my followers? All my followers see that I'm on a live with people, and is there a way to do that, or you have to send it individually?
It's not individually, but you can do like 15 at a time. So you can't send to everybody. You'd have to do whatever, 800 of them to reach all your people. But see how it comments down there? It says, Amanda's book journey just got the #2 gifter badge. So that happened. It says that I shared the live with more than 5 friends because I just did it real quick to do it. Amanda's book journey liked the live. So you get all these stats. It'll tell you all these people who did all these things when it's done.
Okay.
So do you have a good question you want to ask?
I mean, I probably would just ask what the title of the book was. I'm fine with being that basic.
Simpler is better. It's just a matter of audience participation, getting people to try to do it. So what we're going to ask is something as simple as that. Whoever comments first with that answer will be the one. Now, I'm not going to comment, and I'm assuming everybody on the screen is not going to comment. We want somebody besides us to win the book, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put, for a chance to win a signed copy of Addison Michael's new book, tell us the title.
Okay.
Yeah?
So everybody watching at home, now's your chance. Hit the keyboard, type it in, the title of the book. And it could take a second because you don't know how fast their internet speed is or how fast their fingers are on the keyboard.
Or if they just joined, maybe they're quick going to Google, looking up Addison Michael's thriller books, and that's
Look, hold
okay.
up the book. Yeah,
And they'll see all of the great books she's written. And
Thank you. Well, any other questions you want to ask before? I guess we've got about 8 more minutes before we do this giveaway. Yes.
What time was it supposed to start?
5, 7,
Central.
8. Yeah.
supposed to start at 8 o'clock East time.
Yeah.
What editions are available for this book now if somebody wants to buy it?
Right now, I've got Kindle, KU, and paperback. The Audible will be done, audio will be done in August, I think late August, early September. And I'm so excited about, I have 2 people who are going to be doing this book in Audible.
Oh, nice.
Super excited. It's not a duet, it's a duel, I think. Anyway, it'll be 1 female character, 1 male character per chapter. And it is a partner team. So I
So
believe.
you mean like a woman is voicing all the female voices and a man? I've done that a few times before, and I don't know how they bring that together. I think it just blows my mind how they do that. It's got to be so difficult. But
Well, these
I
2
think
live in the same house, so I feel like they will have great communication skills.
yeah, they're actually doing it like in the same room. That's nice.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that it's Paige and PJ. I don't know if you know Paige Resenfeld. I think is how you say her name. She's pretty active on TikTok, but yeah. And so she's gonna do. They won't actually talk back and forth, right? So I'm sure she'll do her chapters and he'll do his chapters, and I think it'll be great. I'm excited.
They're alternating POVs per chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the guy would read chapter 5 and then the
Yeah.
woman read chapter 6 kind of deal. So
Yeah,
then they don't have to be in the same room to do that. They can just read their
No.
files.
Right. Yeah, because we have Stephen Wilton and Mak Cunningham. They're US Marshal partners and totally different POVs, totally different personality types, and so, yeah, they'll just take it away. I'm so excited about it.
That's
JC
awesome. When do you
says they're
expect that to be
great.
available?
Maybe she used them too. JC, have you used these same narrators? Is that how you know they're great? Or maybe you just heard them reading live on TikTok? I notice a lot of narrators are doing that now. They're just doing their reading, live. It's such a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
If we try to do our writing live, it would just be very incredibly boring,
I
You know
know.
the thing about that? First of all, I can't imagine anybody would want to watch me type a line, delete the line, retype it, delete it. I was thinking about that today. I had a clunky phrase, so I'm rewriting it, just trying to make it smoother. Something as simple as he exited the building, got in his car, and slammed the door, something like that, right? It was just clunky, so I rewrite it like 5 times. Now I don't do that with every sentence in the book, obviously, but that particular one, when I got it done, okay, I was like, good, this is smooth. Smooth to the point where if you read it, you don't see anything wrong. It's not like it's the world's greatest sentence. It's just not a screw-up sentence anymore, right? I can't imagine anybody watching me do that. I don't even like watching me do that, right? And then if they're watching me type the manuscript, they might be seeing the big surprises all getting revealed. So that's kind of a not going to do that either kind of deal. So,
I'm very private when I'm writing a first draft. No one's allowed to see it or hear it. Like, because I dictate my first drafts in my office is in my backyard. But like, even like when I didn't have it back here, I couldn't dictate when my husband was home. Our house is small, and he would hear me. I just can't. Like, I can't let anybody see that.
well, I used to think that all the time. It's so bizarre. I'm like driving the car. I'm like, oh wait, I just grabbed the phone. So then the butler said the cat did it, and then it's like email it to myself, and everybody in the car is like, what? And
Dan Notorious' new book,
The
Butler and the Cat.
No, you did a great idea.
I have one more question I really want to ask you. Since you've written 7 books already or published 7 and you write during the day too, what advice do you have for writers just starting out, for new writers, people that want to also be able to successfully publish 7 books someday?
Yeah. I would say find your time. So if you're a morning bird, if you are nighttime like I am, find what your best time period is, get your butt in the seat, and write every single day at that time and create a habit. So what do they say? Is it like 90 days to create a habit? Do it every single day at the same time so that it just becomes like a thing you do. You don't even think about it. And for me, I always try to get at least 1,000 words a night. Sometimes it's 1,500, sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less. I don't freak out about the number of words. it's just, I'm going to write until I'm done. And so on average, it's about 1,000 words a night. So that's why me getting there every single day is really important for getting it done. So, also, I would say release the perfectionism. So just do it. If you're thinking it, put it on the page. And I've had a lot of ideas that I think, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. I can't even believe I'm going to write this, on my computer. I can't believe I'm even going to go there. And I rarely edit them out. They usually become my favorite parts of the book. I might have to smooth them out, and an editor might say, that would never work. And so I make it work later. But just giving yourself permission to create and get it out there and get that first draft, that they always say crappy first draft, and then you can fix it later. But yeah, that's what I
That
thought.
was great advice and well delivered. And that little clip would make a nice little cut that you can post on your author page or as clips of this. So, very useful advice for people.
Good, thank you. All right, are we down to giveaway time?
We're at 5:58. I'm not sure if anybody has commented. Let's see, we might want to.
Uh-oh.
We have to work on this part next time. That needs to be right at the beginning and all the way through. Remember,
What we should, what we should do. Now, how do I get this screen to go away? I can't. I used to know how to do technical things. We, that's maybe this is our tester, and maybe we could always do another one with Addison Michael. Now that we know how to do a lot, well, now that all of us know how to do a lot. Dan was already knowing how to do it.
we'll send
like
Dan a
anything
message
else,
to make
if you
sure
make
he
it a
knows the
habit,
time.
people know every Monday or whatever night to come in. That makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
The first
So-
time you're ironing out a lot of kinks, and like, for example, do you want to keep the screens like this? Do you know how to make them different?
No, this was.
No.
We thought it was good
This
that we
was
got
as good
to
as
this.
we got.
We got Addison on the big screen, and we thought that was like what
Pretty
else
good.
could they do?
Yeah, what can I do?
There's
Tell
a
me
couple
about it.
different options. If there's just two of you, you can be side by side. You can also, if there's a reason to have one person big, like when somebody's doing the painting of the book edges and stuff, they want that big because everyone wants to see it. But like, there's always 6 people watching, And then you can also do. I don't remember if this is called grid. This might be called panel. There's a grid you can do. So if the host taps the guest screen, it'll pop up in the upper right. There's like 3 dots. You tap that, and I think it comes up with grid, whatever we're not on, right? And then everybody becomes an equal size box. So there'd be 4 boxes of equal sizes, kind of like the Brady Bunch kind of deal. And then Addison can feel a little less on the hot seat because there's 4 of us. Because I know when you're the big picture, it's kind of like everybody's looking at me. I better have something to say.
So what do you? I'm pressing, and it's not doing anything.
Well, what are you
I
pressing?
have to shrink the screen. Addison. I'm pressing on Addison's image.
Okay. Well, tap your own screen then. Tap on you.
Cat in
Okay.
time. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for the roses.
Tapping on me doesn't do anything except for it has.
I can't do it because I'm not the host. But you should have a little option button.
Doesn't really.
Anyway, something we can figure out for next time for sure.
So I don't you think the person who
The best I found was the expand.
Well, if you tap on it, that's what I'm just going to say. If you tap on anybody, it'll expand them. So that's one of the options.
Yeah, I was able to expand like one person because now you're little and I'm big.
Right.
But if I wanted
We
to
got rid of
do
that
like,
empty
because that gives me the.
Maybe that's because you're the host. See where it says multi-guest down at the bottom? Do you see that?
That guess, yeah.
Tap that and tell me what choices it gives you.
It says I've got host, guest, and I've got show. And when I do guest, it gives me the option to add guests.
Okay. What if you touch show?
It lists all the guests. It says live show, bring on your talent, how to run a show, and then it says start show.
Okay, that's not it. I know how to do it. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Because usually when I get it set up, I want to.
You would think it'd be more obvious.
Also, Holly, do you have a filter on?
I might.
You look really good. You look so young.
Can't possibly be
so
you. It must be a
young.
filter.
Yes, so yeah.
I'm
Wow.
only 26. I mean,
You look so young.
20 years ago. I think I might have, for one time I did a live, I think I played with the filter. I don't think it ever went off. I don't actually add another one every time I'm on it, but
I need to find whatever you're using.
I'll tell you after this, because I think that I didn't look. I'm kind of, like I said, I think when we were talking yesterday, I don't read instructions for anything, so I just press around buttons and I can't. I'm trying to expand somebody else.
Should we talk about this giveaway? It is 3 minutes after 8.
Yeah.
And if you're just coming on, we are doing, I'm not supposed to say that word. Sorry. We are honoring a copy of my new book for a person who can tell me the name of the book. That's the first person who can tell me the name of the book will get a copy of the book. So I'm looking. Oh, Amanda, you did it. Amanda is the winner. Okay. So now, Amanda, how do I get your information?
So she can send you a DM.
Oh, good.
If Amanda, if you tap Addison's name, it'll bring up her name bigger, and if you tap that, it'll take you to her page. You won't leave the live, and then you can send a DM right from there, or you can comment to the host or any of us and just say, "I won the prize." We're gonna know who you were.
So good job, Amanda. You won this When They Disappeared, book 1 in my new series that just came out. Has it even been a month? I don't think it's been a month. Just came out.
April 30th, right?
It was April.
Came out April 30th. Not even a month. Just like 2
Thanks
weeks.
for remembering that.
Yeah, well, that's good because Amanda is a book person. So perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. Everybody who's here, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. This is Mystery Thriller Book Club is a new book club on Book Talk. And we are going to be doing author interviews. We do book recommendations on our account. This is our very first one, as you can tell if you've been watching. And I, myself, H.K. Christie, and Jennifer Ruff have been trying to figure out how to do this with Addison Michael. And of course, Dan, he's part of the Mystery Thriller Book Club too. And he's going to be our guru going forward on how to do lives. He's been appointed guru. So stay tuned. I think next week we're probably going to try to do another one the same time next week. A new author, or we can do Addison again since this was kind of a practice trial run. We can discuss it offline. Anything else anybody wants to add? And JC Fuller, she's also in our Mystery Thriller Book Club.
Why didn't we bring JC up? Why didn't we have JC on?
She doesn't want to. I invited her.
Oh, okay.
No excuse. I didn't want to either, and here I am.
No, why wouldn't she want to?
She's always face. I know her face is always on.
She's not camera shy at all.
Yes, Mystery Thriller Mondays. I love it. Cat and Time.
There you go. Perfect.
There we go. We just got our branding thanks to Cat and Time. Yeah.
That's so good. Mystery Thriller Mondays.
I love it.
We should appreciate Cat with a book.
Absolutely.
Coming up with that great idea. Maybe our host will spin the wheel and come up with some kind of a prize, or I will, because I know Cat. I've given a couple of books to Cat.
Or I'm going to write your name down for sure.
Oh.
Kat, how did you find us? How did you know how to come here? That would really help us. Did you see Addison's post, or how did you know to come here live at this time? Because we want to know how people are finding this so that we can reach more book people next Monday.
Dan shared live. Okay.
Are you still there?
Pressure's on. Dan shared the live, see?
All right. So next time we'll have incentives to share the live.
So it's like Jen said. You just like the telethons you see for PBS. Every couple of minutes, you just got to remember, hey, everybody,
Take
give
a
me
break
quick
if you've got new
tap,
people. Yeah.
hit that button.
Yeah.
Because people are coming and going. You know how it is when you watch a live. You don't stay the whole time. Or if you do, that's great. You're not gonna care that they asked you 5 or 6 times over an hour
Oh,
to do that.
Dan, you brought Kat here. That's great. Even though you didn't make it until the end.
She got there after me after I shared it.
Oh.
Oh, look what she said. And I believe Dan had a view on his profile as well. Now you're definitely getting a book, Kat. You're bailing me out. I did. I posted and I said, join me here. Of course, if they came and joined early when they were supposed to on time, they saw I wasn't here. But oh well. Now listen, I think this format's a pretty good setup because you can have your host doing the interview and you can have your guest in the big picture because that's what everybody's coming to see. And the rest of us can just sit here quietly, but you can be a moderator from here. You can still comment. You can reply to, like I did when JC made a comment. So I typed a little reply to her comment saying, why are you not up here in a box, right? So, I mean, you can do that. That makes it more interactive too, and it takes a little pressure off the guest.
Okay.
I think we had a pretty good conversation tonight, though. I think that, I don't know.
It's
How do you
gonna
think it
get-
went, Addison, for you? You were the first one in the hot seat.
I loved it. It was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I was nervous about what you all would ask me, but I had an answer, so it was good.
Of course you had answers. Yeah, it was good. We need to work on the structure a little better, and we also kind of forgot what you said, Holly, near the end about the mystery. This is a mystery thriller book club. We're doing this every week. We should have said that at the beginning.
For Mystery Thrillers Monday. Or,
Yeah,
Mystery
but
Thriller
now-
Monday.
Thriller Monday.
We'll get good at it, and when other authors join us, we'll be the experts.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, if any of these little glitches, you're going to remember what they were. Just do a Google search and say, how do I do such and such on TikTok? Somebody else had this problem and they've done a video showing you how to fix the problem. So how to redo the screens, all that. It's all out there. That's how I found out most of this stuff.
Well, I hope that some new readers discovered Addison and her new book. That is the goal, and to reach new readers, and hopefully that happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for asking questions about my book and for letting me be the guinea pig. And I think it'll be a lot of fun going forward.
Pioneer.
You know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's a wrap for the first Mystery Thriller Monday for the Mystery Thriller Book Club, featuring our author of the week, Addison Michael.
Ooh,
Go check her book out when they disappear.
that's what we should do. That's what we should do when we do the videos. Our author of the week is. I like that, Holly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm making.
Well, I posted a video today. I put like my book pick of the week was when they returned or when they disappeared, and to feature her book, which I think we should be doing. And so if we're featuring an author of the week, we should also be posting about their books all week.
Yeah.
Well, think about this too. If I'm here, if I'm watching, then my followers don't get any kind of information about that except for maybe I posted, right? If I come up and I'm in a box, they'll get a notice saying Dan's live. So that's going to bring potentially more, at least more of my people could become aware of it, right? So now if all of us are up here and every time we tell everybody, hey, if you don't mind, reach down, hit that curvy arrow, share this with the first 10 people who pop up, and then we all get it too. You know, just the 4 of us sending it, you can send it to 15. That's 60 people each time we did it. And if you do that over the course of an hour, you're going to reach a couple of hundred people you wouldn't have reached before. They're not all going to pop in, but Kat did.
Well,
a
Kat-
few other people did.
Kat's also done some additional branding for us to call it an author spotlight.
I like
That's for the
that.
author week.
Author
So,
spotlight.
Kat, can we hire you, which is just in maybe some books, to like have be our branding expert for our Mystery Thriller Book Club? You're invited officially to the club.
That's good.
Okay. Anything else? Any other closing comments from the Mystery Thriller Book Club and our author spotlight of the week? Addison Michael? No? Okay. I guess I'm supposed to end the live. So we'll.
Hey, thank
I
you.
think you guys did a
Thank you,
pretty good job
Addison.
the first time out of the gate.
Thanks, Dan.
All right.
Here.
Bye.
Basically, you go to the upper right and hit the X.
Yeah, I think my
Wow.
fingers just don't like to touch things.
It's tricky the first time.
Well, I've
And
been
a
alive
couple
before.
can leave
but,
by doing